Happy Friday. How are you? I'm doing really well. Glad to be here. It's just been such a beautiful week up here on the ranch, and gosh, it's just so. I didn't realize how much like spring was going to affect my mood. I'm like, oh, I survived. But it's also just my life kind of, falling into place a little bit more and things coming together for me, which I'm super, super, super grateful for. So, and that, of course, has everything to do with you all as well. I couldn't do this without your support, and that means everything. If you do ever have an opportunity to share my work, I would appreciate it. I can't do all of this on my own, and so if there's an opportunity for you to share what I'm doing, I would appreciate it. So thank you so much for that. We do have this quilt back here that I've had up all week that I haven't really talked about. That's the deer head cabin quilt. Really popular, easy quilt to make. And of course, all of my patterns can be found on quiltingcowboy.com. Just hit the shop tab and all the patterns are there. All the patterns come with a video tutorial to walk you through it step by step in case you're more of a visual learner instead of just reading a pattern. So anyways, that's that. I'm excited about today's topic, our alignment. Ooh, wow, like we're kind of getting into some stuff now, right? Like some really good, beautiful stuff, right? And we've been continuing to excavate, right, the garbage and fear and see what's optional. Little hint, if it's fear, it's optional, right? Because fear is nothing. Fear is an illusion. There is nothing there other than a ghost of a feeling. There's no there. There's no substance, right? And fear is optional. Fear is also what stands in our greatest way when we're trying to get in alignment, right? Like that video I posted a couple of videos ago where I was just completely acting from a place of fear. As I do on occasion, as we all do, right? Because we're in here learning how to be more human, not less, right? And I feel like on the spiritual path, wow, I just diverted that negative into a positive. That's growth. Whew. I know y'all can't see what's going on in here, which is probably a good thing. Everyone would go run away screaming. And for that, I am blessed, right? This exercise of getting into trust. You can't get into trust when you are in fear, right? Those two things are like opposites. They don't work in conjunction very well, right? You can't be in fear and in trust at the same time. So which is it? Well, I'm really grateful for this exercise having brought me to hello, this is where you are, this is what you're feeling and experiencing, and seeing that what's written on there is fear. Right? Just one example after another, to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, I guess that's part of the beauty of so when I was writing my books, right, I was checking myself on my thoughts, right? But this is not only checking myself on my thoughts, but checking myself on my delivery and actions and, general vibe. That's like a much weightier way to assess ourselves. Conscious thinking requires that. Conscious thinking, in order to be in true alignment, requires us to not only be how we are in the world, but also monitor at the same time. So conscious thinking requires us to think from two places simultaneously as opposed to one. It has to. Right? Because while I'm in here thinking about what I'm going to say next, there's the other part of my brain that's hanging out up here that's monitoring and checking what's going on in here the whole time, right? So some people in spiritual circles call it the observer, right? It's something I really leveraged when writing my books and finding the voice of the narrator. Right? The voice of the narrator in the books is the observer, right? That's the narrator. The one who's saying what Jack's doing, whatever, blah, 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 and describing as he's going through his day, right, what's going on. And it's this omnipotent voice that kind of hangs out here, checking what he's doing and what he's thinking. Last video, I don't know if you noticed, but I got into a moment where I was really trying to connect, right, and really trying to get into trust. And you could see I was struggling a little bit, but at the same time, while I was so down into that moment and connecting with spirit and trying to search for solutions, at the same time, did you see in real time I had an aha as I was like, oh wow, look, I'm trusting, because I was so into this, but the observer was bringing to the forefront of my consciousness what I was actually doing, right? And what I was actually doing was moving from fear into trust. Let's see, how do I say this? I think I've found a solution to my trust issues, right? And I kind of said it without really realizing that I was saying it in that last video. What did I say? I said, well, it doesn't matter what path you're on, right? We're all on the same mountain, heading in the same direction, which is evolution, right, of consciousness and spirit. We're all on, I said that and I believe that, right? We are all on the same mountain heading towards the top, right? The realization, the actualization of your spirit. It only heads in one direction. Now, mind you, sometimes you take a little detour down into the gutter, and your life lives there for a little bit. But even that is a bit of a slingshot, right? Back up into the general direction of growth. Look at humanity. Wasn't that long ago we didn't let black people on buses, right? Now we've had a black president. Wasn't that long ago, Christians were way more bigoted against queer people than they are today. I see the evolution on their mountain, right? But I want to get in there and micromanage it and still go, with my general air of, what the hell is this shit? Because that's just kind of the place I operate from, right? But when I took my focus of trust off the granular, right, off the specifics, off the people themselves, and placed my trust in a higher place above that plane, right, above the human realm, and I placed my trust there, well, I mean, it's kind of obvious to me, anyhow, when I say it so plainly like that the intelligence of the universe operates from a place that my little puny human brain can't even begin to comprehend, right? But I think it can. And I think I should find more solutions on how that could be going better. Oh my God, I'm so egotistical. It's just really so what I eventually came to in hearing myself say the answer in that last video is that I don't have to trust my fellow humans. They're in good care. They're on a mountain that only has a direction of evolution. And I can trust that the intelligence of the universe, has answers that I can't even begin to comprehend. That it has built into this whole system growth, evolution, and evolving in one direction. Always. I know that's true. Look at history, right? We're always evolving in one direction. Yeah, sure, we might take a little, detour. But it always comes back, right, to heading in one direction, which is higher level of consciousness and love. It always and only moves in that direction. So can I trust that? Can I trust that they're on their path on this mountain and doing their thing, whatever they need to do in order to get up to the top of the mountain, even if I don't understand, even if I find their literature and text horrifying? I don't have to get involved in that, because I can trust that the universe has got it in the bag, and it doesn't need me and my little puny brain and opinions to come along and try and fix them or that, right? Like, I can just put the trust in all of the universe to be more intelligent than me, and that there's a plan there, a plan I may not understand in every single moment, but that I understand just because of the laws of the universe that we're all evolving. I mean, I even look at my own family. My own family certainly has evolved away from being a purely religious bunch of people to being more spiritual. And mind you, that sometimes requires some of the older people to die off. Sorry. Oh, look, we're evolving. Right? So, I love that. I love that I asked my mind and the universe to deliver to me an answer to my trust issues. I feel like I found it. I feel like, I can just let that go. I don't have to be involved, and I don't have to be bedeviled by it and be, running against it, quite frankly, all the time. That's exhausting and a fool's errand. Like, I'm just not interested in doing that, or having those faith communities that are just still operating from such a place of bigotry occupying my mind. Like, I don't need them occupying my mind. I don't want them occupying my mind. I choose a different choice. I choose to remove them from my thoughts. And the only way that I can remove something that I'm bedeviled with in that way, that I'm terrorized by in that way, the only way to remove them from my mind is to do the most selfish thing of all. Forgive them. Forgive them. Forgive them. That is the only way to get them out. That is the only way. That is the only way. So I forgive them. All right? I forgive them. And I wish them well. And I hope that they evolve. Doesn't mean I won't change my personal boundaries, right? Doesn't mean that I change anything in terms of my own personal island of safety for me and John, and choose very deliberately who can come onto that island of safety, because their thought patterns need to be in alignment with the spirit of our family, which is love. And if their alignment, their vibe, isn't with that, well, that's fine. We get to hold boundaries. But in the meantime, I don't need to be changing them. I mean, hell, I can barely change myself, right? I mean, how hard is that? It's difficult to change ourselves, but not impossible. Not impossible. I feel accomplished in the moment. I feel accomplished in having found for myself something that allows me to trust in a greater way than I have been up to this point. I want to liberate myself, right? Again, speaking of what we want, not of what we don't want. I want to liberate myself from the terror and angst of what was. Because it's no longer happening, right? I posted a picture yesterday of myself in first grade in drag. And, it's interesting because it could have been a really easy, fun, let's laugh at Dale moment of, oh, look how queer he was even in first grade. right? I could have made it a laugh, ha ha moment, like everybody, have a laugh at that. But I actually chose not to, just because of the environment to which we find ourselves in right now. I posted my story. I posted my truth. That's something I'm getting a lot more comfortable with. And having written my books, sometimes it's easier for me to reference what's said in my books rather than saying what's true for me. I don't know. It's just a slight way of handling it different. It's just when I'm talking about, oh, this is what's in my books, as opposed to this is what's on my heart, right? It's easier to talk about what's in the book because I also have the buffer of Jack, right? Which is partially me, partially not me. So anyways, I posted that picture and I posted the truth of my childhood along with that photo, that I was a child in elementary school with a suicide journal, that I was bullied to the point of having to change schools because I couldn't escape, right? Especially after, just being as flaming as queer as I possibly can be, right? In, that play when, man, that was tough. That was not awesome. That was terrorizing. That was unsafe. Because, in 1976, when that photo was taken, there were no gay people on TV. There were no gay people in my life. I mean, heck, I was being brought up in a Christian home where we weren't allowed to listen to secular music. That's non-Christian music, if you're unfamiliar with that term. We could only listen to Christian music, and we could only watch certain TV shows. But anything racy, like Three's Company or Love Boat, or Gilligan's Island, forget it. That was just like, whoa, way too much. Because that's the environment I was being brought up in. So for me, at that age, there was no safe place. None. And I lived there in that headspace of abject terror for probably a decade at least. And sorry. Yeah, there was no safe place. School certainly wasn't safe. I mean, luckily, there was a black kid in my class, and him and I found friendship in each other because we were both just pariahs, right? And, but yeah, I mean, I was hated and vilified by the other, students. It was bad. It was bad. And so school wasn't safe. Church certainly wasn't safe, especially as I'm coming to the realization that I'm a queer person and my mother is languaging things like gay people are from the pit, from hell. That's where gay people come from. And I'm like, whoa, like, what does that mean for me, right? So, home wasn't safe when my mother's languaging homophobic things like that. Church wasn't safe because they were all languaging homophobic ideology like that. School wasn't safe. Like, I had no safe place. I had no safe place. And that, was just how I grew up. And I guess the safe place I did find, which has kind of stuck with me, obviously, is that I would head into our family basement, which it just felt more away from the rest of the family. Like I had to have a separation from them, right? Because they were not safe people for me at all. So I would hang out in the basement and I would do crafts because I wasn't really into sports. I wasn't really allowed to watch a lot of television. I wasn't allowed to listen to a lot of music, right? So my options were very limited. And my mother, being a sewing teacher, she had like sewing supplies and stuff around, and like, little me, I'm like, oh, great, let's sew. Shablam. Right? But even though my mom was a sewing teacher, she never taught me how to sew. She taught my sister, but not her son, because that was, again, 1976. Posting that photo, I was surprised at how coming clean with that, getting honest about that was my life, that, I was that level of bullied to the point of having to change schools, kind of thing. All right, are we back? Sorry, someone just phoned me on my phone, and anyways, when it does that, it stops the recording, but we're back. And anyhow, like I was saying, getting honest that was me, that when you're talking about anti-trans kids' rights, like, you're talking about me, because as a child born onto the queer spectrum, right, their experience is my experience. And that you may not in any way support an organization, faith, or political party that vilifies young trans kids and think that you're a decent human. That's the line. That's the line of decency between our fellow humans, right? But yeah, I was just surprised at how, like, after I posted that, like, I just felt like people were seeing me in a truer light, knowing that was my experience growing up, right? That's where I learned how to be alone a lot of the time, right? And not trust. And how that has colored my life in good and bad ways. So, what do we do with all of this? Again, to speak of what we want, what do we want? Right? To elevate ourselves and bring ourselves back into alignment. What do we want? What do we want? We can have anything. Seriously. And I honestly believe we all get clear on that. We can actually manifest whatever we want, right? So in terms of faith communities that have vilified the queer community since the dawn of time, what do we want, right? I want there to be accountability. I want accountability. I want the leaders of the majority of the Christian faith and everybody else who currently has got some homophobic bullshit going on to stand up and say, I'm sorry, and take responsibility for their hate and fix it. Accountability, reparations, change. That's what I want. That's what I want to see. But if I'm going through the world like this towards those people, how much change am I going to, help facilitate? Not a lot. Not a lot. They're not going to want to have anything to do with me. They're not going to want to hear my message. They're not going to want to give me the time of day. They're just going to think I'm another jerk, which is kind of true at times. Right? But that's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I demand, right? But I can't live there. I got to put that into the universe of what I want and let it go. Because manifesting isn't micromanaging, right? Manifesting is declaring to the universe what you want, then trusting that it will come true. It's in the you've done your work part, now step away and let the magic of the universe align things for you where change happens. And that's not micromanaging. That is in trusting, right? Oh, trusting that if I focus on my alignment, that's the greatest thing that I can do to cause change in this world, is to myself evolve, change the vibration of the planet by changing the vibration of me, right? Like, it makes sense. And if there was enough of us who were all doing that, who were all changing the vibration of us consciously in an effort to affect change of the vibration of the planet, like, it just can't help but, lead one to another, right? So if I focus on that and then step away from the angst and the trauma and everything that happened in the past and let that live where it was, which is not here today, because to fight anything is to fight alignment. Alignment of ourselves does not happen, nor can it happen in a fight, because in a fight, you are in fear. Again, fear and trust are opposites. You can't live, like, you gotta pick a side. So I'm going to choose deliberately, consciously, and with effort to trust that the universe has got it covered. It doesn't need me chiming in with my little ego and ideas. Yelling and screaming about, what the universe isn't delivering. Because the more I say what the universe isn't delivering, the more I get of what I don't want. Because I'm speaking of that which I do not want, not what I do. Right? So, aligning ourselves, being a little more almost selfish. Remember when I talked about being self-centered and being centered in self are two sides of the same coin? That's what I'm talking about. Finding that beautiful position within yourself where you put your vibration and resonance with all that is, right? And how you're relating to all that is, right? In alignment with trust in the universe, right? And speaking of what we want, right? That's so much more light, right? And I want to live an existence of carefree lightness and trust. It's there. It's like right there, right? It's almost like the idea of, and I love this spiritual concept of just going on vacation. Just go on vacation, right? Live your life as if you're on vacation. Take the care and worry out, right? To worry about something is to use our imagination to conjure up ideas of what we don't want. Let's not use our imagination in a harmful way like that. Let's abandon worry and trust that the universe has got it covered, right? So that I can get a little more selfish, a little more self-centered, right? A little more centered in self to focus on the vibration of me and how that is affecting everything around me, right? So I can radiate with joy and love and be carefree and be on vacation, right? And trust that the universe has got it covered. It does not need me in any way, despite what I might tell myself, that I should handle it. I should definitely handle the Christians. That's what this world needs. It's not what the world needs. That is not what the world needs. Because we've all seen how that turns out. Dale, yeah, will you mind just leaving the... Yeah, thanks. Yeah, okay, we're done here. Yeah, see ya. Oh. But it's a process. It's a process of alignment, to focus within ourselves, to bring in the observer, so that as we are going through our day, we are not only here, but we are here. We are living in two places within our minds at once, so that when we are in it and we are calling and we are asking for change, that when that change arrives, we notice in real time. We notice in real time. Because having the observer there, right? And monitoring our thoughts and being aware of what we're programming our mind to do and to look for are all key components of manifesting. And we can manifest really big things. We can. We can change the world. We can. And we will. Look, we already have, right? And with every day getting a new opportunity to affect that change and be better and to change the vibration of us so that we can change the vibration of everything else. Our alignment, right? To understand that to fight anything is to fight alignment. We can't go there. It's too costly. It's too costly. We can do big things. We can do powerful things. We can manifest anything we want. We can make this world into anything we want. But it all starts in one place. Right here. Right here. Right? It all starts right here and right here. Our alignment with what is. So I think we're on our way. I feel, like I said, accomplished. I feel good. I feel like I've discovered something for myself by continuing to chase it down and program my mind to look for solutions. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited to see where it goes. But that's it for me today. I just wanted to share that with you because I am really excited about where we're going and what's coming up next. So anyways, that's it for me today. I hope that you have an awesome day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.